Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. In today's video, I'll be predicting next year's NFL award winners, plus next year's Super Bowl prediction. Before we get started, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 80 subscribers by the end of the year. And also, like and share. Anyways, let's get started. For the first award I'm predicting, Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm predicting will go to Bijan Robinson. He is the top running back in this year's draft class, and while he might not be drafted very high just because of positional value, in my opinion, he is better than almost half of the running backs in the NFL already. That's just my opinion. I'm a huge fan of him. I like the way he plays. He is a great threat receiving out of the backfield as well as rushing. I did not put his receiving stats on the board here. I did not have enough room with the slide. But as you can see, he had 258 attempts, 1,580 yards rushing, 18 touchdowns rushing, and 6.1 yards per carry. Those are some incredible stats for a guy who is only in college and is playing a limited amount of games compared to the amount of games NFL has played. While this is different, obviously a different stage, I feel like this will translate really well to the NFL, and I'm excited to see where he goes. And yeah, that's why I'm putting him at Offensive Rookie of the Year. For Offensive Player of the Year, this is probably the most unlikely one, but I'm a huge fan of Jalen Waddle. If you look at his 2022 stats, he had 75 receptions, 1,356 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 18.1 yards per reception. Those are some incredible stats from a guy who is a number 2 receiver. And with Tyreek Hill getting older as each year goes by, I believe he is about 28 or 29 now. With a young guy like Jalen Waddle, his role will be increased, and I feel like he is in a spot where he can have an incredible breakout year. Obviously putting up great numbers. Surprising that he did not make the Pro Bowl or even get All-Pro honors. But he played incredibly well. One of the most underrated players in the NFL, in my opinion. I feel like next season he will be in a great situation to have a breakout year. Next award I'm predicting is Defensive Rookie of the Year with Will Anderson. I'm predicting his 2022 season stats: 10 sacks, 51 total tackles, and 1 interception. While those are not very impressive stats, when you think about how many times he was getting doubled and triple teamed, if he was on with one offensive tackle, that's an instant sack right there. Many are projecting him to be like the next Khalil Mack, which is an incredible pro comp considering what Khalil Mack has done in his career. But yeah. In the season prior, he had 17 and a half sacks. Was in Heisman Trophy finals as a defensive player, which is saying an incredible amount, considering that award usually goes to offensive skill position players. And yeah. So while the stat line might not stand out too much, the fact that he is being doubled and triple teamed almost every single play really shows what he does. And yeah, I feel like his play will translate to the NFL really well. And he is definitely a top 5 NFL pick. For Defensive Player of the Year next year, I'm predicting Sauce Gardner to get it. In his rookie year, he had 51 tackles, 20 passes defended, and 2 interceptions. Coming off a year where he was the first rookie cornerback to get first-team All-Pro honors in NFL history, that is saying something. And yeah, I feel like he is the true number 1 shutdown, lockdown corner in the NFL. And if he can just keep this up, will be the next Darrelle Revis. In my opinion, I'm a huge fan of him. Him coming out of college the year prior, I was super high on him. He has the height, the weight, the speed, everything. And yeah, he is an incredible player, and I'm a huge fan of him. Had a great year alongside with Garrett Wilson. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do in his career. And if he could just continues like this, he will be a surefire Hall of Famer. For League MVP, I'm projecting Joe Burrow to win it. He was in MVP finalist contention this year, but ultimately did not get it, and Patrick Mahomes got it. But I feel like next year is his year. In 2022, he had 4,475 yards passing, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That is a very good stat line. Towards the beginning of the year, he was not playing incredibly well, but in the second half of the season, he played very well. And yeah, had a huge winning streak, ultimately winning them their division and putting them at a great seed. And yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do with the rest of his career. And finally, for the Super Bowl winner, I'm predicting the Eagles to go 34-28 over the Cincinnati Bengals. And Super Bowl MVP is A.J. Brown. I'm predicting this because I feel like both teams, the Bengals, will make it back to the Super Bowl next year. They're with Joe Burrow. They're going to be in playoff contention every single year. As long as he's healthy, he'll be there with them in the playoffs. And with the Eagles, I feel like they'll bounce back, bring everyone back in free agency, hopefully, and kind of run it back another year. And I feel like they can win it this year. And yeah. Anyways, Super Bowl MVP AJ Brown. I think he'll have a similar, some sort of stat line like 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, something similar to what Cooper Kupp did in the Super Bowl prior to this year. But yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, see you.